Have you ever felt like you were back to the drawing board, no matter how hard you tried? As an English learner, understanding common idioms like this one can be a real challenge. Let me share a funny story that shows how easy it is to misunderstand the meaning of back to the drawing board. My friend, Samantha, thought it meant she had to literally go back to an art class and start a new drawing from scratch. So, what does back to the drawing board actually mean? It's an idiom that refers to the need to start a project over again, usually after an unsuccessful attempt. Imagine a designer who's working on a new product, but the prototype just isn't working. They'd have to go back to the drawing board to rethink the design and start over. Now let's see how back to the drawing board can be used correctly. After the big presentation, the CEO told the team, "It's back to the drawing board. We need to come up with a more innovative solution." Here are some more examples of how to use back to the drawing board in different contexts. Casual, looks like my first draft didn't impress the boss. Time to go back to the drawing board. Formal, the prototype failed safety tests, so we'll have to return to the drawing board and redesign the product. Negative, I can't believe my business plan was rejected. It's back to the drawing board, and I'm feeling so discouraged. Humorous, after my terrible date, I guess it's back to the drawing board for my love life. Literary, the artist stared at the blank canvas, knowing it was time to go back to the drawing board. Business, our marketing campaign missed the mark. So we'll need to revisit the strategy and start over from the drawing board. Social media, my social media post flopped. Time to go back to the drawing board and rethink my content strategy. To help you remember the meaning of back to the drawing board, think of an artist or engineer literally returning to their drafting table to rework a design or plan. Did you know the phrase back to the drawing board originated from a 1941 cartoon by Peter Arno in the New Yorker magazine? It reflects the iterative nature of design and problem solving, where you have to be willing to start over to find the best solution. Interestingly, some cultures have similar idioms, like the Japanese phrase, "Furudashi and I Madaru," which means to go back to the starting point. Back to the square one, start from scratch, and regroup are all similar idioms that convey the idea of starting over. On the flip side, nail it on the first try, hit the bullseye, and knock it out of the park are opposite expressions that suggest success without the need to revise. Other related idioms include go back to the drawing board, rework the plan, and redesign the approach. Let's say I'm working on a new marketing campaign, and my first attempt falls flat. I might say, looks like I need to go back to the drawing board on this one. If I rephrase that without using the idiom, it would be, I'll have to start over and completely redesign this marketing campaign. I remember a time when my colleague, Sarah, used back to the drawing board perfectly. She was leading a team brainstorming session, and after several ideas were rejected, she said, "Okay, everyone, it's back to the drawing board. Let's rethink this from the ground up." Her use of the idiom really emphasized the need to start fresh and reconsider the entire approach. One common mistake is using back to the drawing board with the wrong preposition, like saying back on the drawing board instead of back to the drawing board. Another mistake is thinking the idiom means you have to literally return to a physical drawing board. One common mistake is using back to when it's really about the need to rework a plan or design. Finally, some people use back to the drawing board inappropriately when they've only had one unsuccessful attempt, rather than multiple failed efforts. Quiz time. 1. What does the idiom back to the drawing board mean? A. To start a new drawing from scratch. B. To return to the original plan or design. C. To go back to an art class. Correct answer, B. 2. Which of these is a synonym for back to the drawing board? A. Start from scratch. B. Nail it on the first try. C. I hit the bullseye. Correct answer, A. 3. Which of these is an antonym for back to the drawing board? A. Go back to the drawing board. B. Knock it out of the park. C. Rework the plan. Correct answer, B. In summary, back to the drawing board is a common English idiom that refers to the need to start a project over again, usually after an unsuccessful attempt. Understanding the meaning and proper usage of this idiom can help you communicate more effectively in both casual and professional settings. Now it's your turn. Try using the idiom back to the drawing board in a sentence and share it with us. I'd love to hear how you're applying what you've learned today.